Special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this video possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, ZPro here bringing you another Minecraft Cold War aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Saab 35 Draken. The Saab 35 Draken is a Swedish fighter interceptor developed and manufactured by Svenska Aeroplane Aktiebolaget. Probably completely butchered that, which translates to Saab. Between 1955 and 1947, development of the Saab 35 Draken started in 1948 as the Swedish Air Force future replacement for the then also in development Saab 29 Tunnan day fighter and Saab 32B Lansen night fighter. It featured an innovative but unproven double delta wing, which led to the creation of a subscale test aircraft, the Saab 210, which was produced and flown to test this previously unexplored aerodynamic feature. The full-scale production version entered service with frontline squadrons of the Swedish Air Force on March 8, 1960. It received the designation Flygplan 35 and was produced in several variants and types, most commonly as a fighter type with the prefix J, standing for the Javelin, or pursuit aircraft, translated, the Swedish term for the fighter aircraft. The Saab 35 Draken is known for, among other things, its many firsts with aviation. It was the first Western European-built combat aircraft with true supersonic capability to enter service and first fully supersonic aircraft to be deployed in Western Europe. Design-wise, it was one, if not the first combat aircraft designed with the double delta wings, being drawn up by the early 1950. The unconventional wing design also had the side effect of making it the first known aircraft to perform and be capable of the Cobra maneuver. It was also one of the first Western European-built aircraft to exceed Mach 2 in level flight, reaching it on January 14, 1960. The Draken functioned as an effective supersonic fighter aircraft of the Cold War period. Even though the type was designed and intended as an interceptor, it was considered to be a very capable dogfighter in the era. In Swedish service, it underwent several upgrades, the ultimate of these being the J-35J model. By 1980s, the SAF Draken had largely been replaced by the more advanced Saab 37 Viggen fighter, while the introduction of more capable Saab JAS-39 Gripen fighter was expected in service within a decade, although delayed. As a consequence of cutbacks and high maintenance costs, the SAF offered to retire the Draken during December 1999. The type was also exported to the air forces of Austria, Denmark, and Finland. Danish aircraft have been exported post-service to the United States, where they have been seen and used as training aircraft for test pilots. So yeah, the Saab 35 Draken here, a very unique aircraft, and one of those designs that really kind of came from the Cold War period of just total advancements in aviation, engineering, and just military type design principles. And the Draken just really kind of excelled at what it did. It was a very unique fighter for what it was and performed its job really well. So really can't complain too much with that. One of those really interesting aircraft that looks more like a prototype than you would actually imagine seeing flying around. But overall, really cool jet, and I'm really happy to finally get a design out there for it, as I know it's been kind of a anticipated aircraft for quite some time. Before we go and jump into taking a look at the build, I do want to go and give special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel more you already do, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions, where you can go and pledge a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so earn a vehicle request you're choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel. It's really greatly appreciated, so definitely feel free to check that out. Again, link is always in my video descriptions. With that though, let's go ahead and jump in to take a look here at the Saab J-35 Draken. So going ahead and getting started with, here we have the front nose of the aircraft. You'll also see that this isn't a two-tone, or I guess technically a three-tone. We have the white underbelly, which seemed to be a common staple for the 35s. And we also have a green and black color scheme for the upper section, which I think looks good. There's some that are kind of just in like a little bit of an off-white color, but I think the green and black just looks a lot better overall. So that's what I went ahead and went with. We have the front nose of the aircraft here, nothing too fancy. As we progress further back, we have the Swedish Royal Air Force kind of insignia there on the side of the aircraft, and then we have the cockpit here. As we go back further, we have the intakes on the sides, the delta wings, you can see going back like so, and again, just kind of the various details here around the aircraft, all that stuff. And we have the tail like so, with the tail number and probably the squadron patch or something of that sort. And then we have the jet engine here on the back. This is also equipped with some missiles, so we have some air-to-air missiles, as this is an interceptor. It was more designed for that role, as well as some drop tanks here located in the middle fuselage section. So that's what we have in terms of loadout, and we do have a landed and in-flight version for you guys. So obviously you can see here the in-flight version of the Draken in all its glory. And then down below it, we have obviously what we were looking at, the landed version as well. So you will have access to both those in this build if you are wanting to build a landed version or an in-flight version. So you definitely have some playability with it. However, though, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so moving into our first layer here, we'll be going ahead and starting off with layer number 3. Now we are starting with layer number 3 because layer 3 is going to give us a better baseline of the aircraft to kind of go ahead and expand upon. So that's basically why we're starting with this layer here. A few things I want to mention though, if you're completely new to my aircraft tutorials, the first thing is going to be that being completely new, the way I like to structure these tutorials is we like to do half on, half off. So what this means is we're going to be doing the center line of the aircraft and the entire right side. This aircraft is symmetrical, so whatever we do on one side will be done to the other. So what this means is you'll be taking the right side that we build and transferring over to the left side. Pretty simple, and once we get for the first couple layers, it will make a little bit more sense as what we're doing. In addition, we will be adding the landing gear on to the build at the end as a modification. So if you do want to build the aircraft landed, you will need to make sure here that layer number 3 is the third level up from the ground. So kind of easy to remember that. But we have 1, 2 full spaces between basically this layer here and ground level. Very important to make sure that's correct, because if it is off basically a block at all, it is not going to sit properly when you go back to add the landing gear. So again, if you're building the landed version, just make sure that's good. Obviously, if you're not building the landed version, you don't have to worry about that. Last thing I want to mention is that for the camouflage, we will be building this just in a solid green, and then I will be talking about the camouflage in my process going through and making it at the end. So we'll be building this in a solid green, and then the camouflage will kind of come later at the end of the build. So with that though, let's go ahead and jump into this layer. So the first thing we're going to be going ahead and starting with is we're going to go ahead and place down a long row of smooth quartz. This long row is going to lead us all the way to the back of the aircraft, being a total of 21 blocks like that for our center line. We then want to go ahead and go to the front of the aircraft. So we're going to have our aircraft facing this way. So the front here, we're going to place down 2 pistons basically upside down like so. Now, if you are on a different version of Minecraft that does not have access to the pistons, instead of these pistons here, I would recommend placing down 2 more quartz full blocks, or 2 more of our smooth quartz full blocks forward. If you're on Java, we do have access to a tool which we'll be using to kind of help shape the front here, so that is why we're using the pistons. So again, if you're on a version other than Java, 2 quartz full blocks. If you're on Java with mods available, or not really even with mods, but just with commands and cheats enabled, go ahead and place the pistons. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 polished blackstone top slabs and then a dark oak trapdoor for the front there. Going to the rear of the aircraft, we have basically the same thing here. We have a 2 upside down pistons like so. For this situation, I would place down a smooth quartz full block and then a smooth quartz top slab instead, again, as an alternative from the pistons. After that, though, we're going to go ahead and place down our smooth quartz top slab and then an iron trapdoor like that to go and finish that off. With that done, going back up to the front of the aircraft here, we're going to take our skeleton skulls. We're going to place down 2 on the side there of those pistons. We then want to place in a blue stained glass pane and then a white stained glass pane. After that, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some quartz stairs, and we're going to place down a row of upside down quartz stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these are smooth quartz. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4 direct walls. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and actually, sorry, 6 smooth quartz upside down stairs back from those walls, and then 1, 2, 3 quartz top slabs. After that, going back up to the front, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 iron trapdoors coming off those first 4 stairs, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 quartz top slabs, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 iron trapdoors back. On the inside section here, we are going to take our skeleton skulls and just place down 2 along the side there of the pistons. Our next row here to the side is going to begin with by placing down 2 direct walls, one coming off the second quartz slab and one coming off the third, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 iron trapdoors. So again, just like that. After that's done, we're going to then go to our third iron trapdoor. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 back. Then our next row is going to be going ahead and going to our second trapdoor here. We're going to go ahead and place down 1 and 2 back on the side here. 2 direct walls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 iron trapdoors back from that. We're going to go off this direct wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 iron trapdoors. And then after that, we want to go and then go to the side here again. Place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like so. Then 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, just like that. And after that's all done right there, that's going to basically complete what we have there for the basically layer. And this right here is what you pretty much want to have. So taking a look at it from above, this is what you should have for the final product of this layer. You'll take what we did on the right side, copy it over to the left side, and you'll pretty much be good to go. With that though all out of the way, that right there is going to conclude layer 3. And with that, we'll go ahead and drop down to layers 1 and 2. Alright guys, so moving into layers 1 and 2. Now these layers here are going to basically just involve us pretty much putting our drop tanks and our missiles onto the aircraft. So really nothing too crazy. But to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to be going ahead and going to this bottom section down here. Now we're going to go ahead and go to these 4 direct walls here. And we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 quartz full blocks on the bottom of them. Going toward the front of the aircraft, so that way there, we're going to place down 1 more quartz full block, followed by a direct wall, and then a skeleton skull. We're going to then go to the back here. We're going to place down 1 quartz block going back, and then 1 direct wall. At this point in time, we want to go and then go to our middle 4 blocks, and we're going to place down iron trapdoors on the bottom of those blocks. We can also place down iron trapdoors on the side of those quartz blocks. Now, what we can do here for us Java players is we'll type in the command /give space @p Minecraft :debug_stick. By pressing tab, it'll fill in your command all the way, and so you can see here we have this command. Pressing enter will give us this glowing stick. Now we can go and then go up to these iron trapdoors, left click until we get selected open false is what it should say, and by right clicking it should say open to true, and it will close those trapdoors along the side there of the blocks. Now a good alternative for those of you that do not have access to the debug stick is to very simply go ahead and use birchwood trapdoors. Those will also work. However, obviously the iron trapdoors here are going to be your kind of more ideal block here for this situation. Though either way will work. In addition, we also want to go ahead and grab a birchwood sign, and we're going to place it down on the side here of this wall, and it's only going to be on the outside here because we have the iron trapdoors on the inside. We can't place anything in there. Now once that's done, go ahead and moving into our missiles. For our missiles here, we do want to go ahead and grab ourselves some end rods. So we're going to place down a row 2 of end rods that's going to be underneath these 2 walls here. Now we're going to go ahead and place down a quartz top slab going forward, and then a skeleton skull like so. On the sides of the quartz slab here, we're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood sign, and we're actually going to go ahead and delete this sign here on the side of this wall and actually place it just on the side here of the quartz slab. So we're just going to make that change there. And then going back from this, we're going to place down 2 stone top slabs. On the very last stone top slab, we're going to place down an item frame. In said item frame, we are going to go ahead and place down a black concrete block. And if you're on Java, we can also place a birchwood sign on the side there with the item frame. And then we're going to go ahead and also place down a birchwood sign on the side here of this stone slab there on the outside and the outside only. After we have that done, we would then want to go ahead and go to the bottom here of these walls. We're going to place down 2 end rods like that. We then want to place down a quartz top slab going forward, and then a skeleton skull. We also want to place down a birchwood sign on both sides of the slab. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and take our stone top slabs. We're going to place down 2 back, followed by an item frame, and then a black concrete block in the item frame. Birchwood sign on the side here again for Java players, and then 2 birchwood signs on the sides there, like so. And that right there is pretty much it for your missiles. And you'll just do that for basically those 2 pylons for each wing. And once you have that done, that's going to basically conclude layers 1 and 2 for the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving up to our next layer, which will be layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to get started with here, we're going to place down a polished black stone slab on top of this dark oak trapdoor, a end rod going forward, and then a chain like that on the very tip there for the nose of the aircraft. We're going to go then place down another piston. That will be located right here, and this can be replaced with a polished black stone stair instead. And then we're going to then place down a black concrete block right here. After that, we're going to place down 2 green terracotta blocks, then a row of 4 black concrete. Now this right here is just going to kind of close off the cockpit from being kind of visible into the inside here when we go back in outer canopy. You can leave the space open if you do want to build an interior for it. However, just with this aircraft and the way it's structured, there really is not much room for an interior. So just keep that in mind. We're just going to close this off of a row 4 though for the tutorial. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down a long row of green terracotta. That's going to go back a total of 18 blocks. We're going to go ahead and place down a glowstone block and then a orange stained glass block like that for the engine effect there. If you do have the aircraft landed and you do want to have the engine turned off, you can very simply, instead of placing the glowstone, place down a black concrete block, and instead of this orange stained glass, place down a polished black stone slab instead. If you want to have this sitting there with the engine turned off, maybe parked or something like that, you can also have that option as well. And then after that orange stained glass block, we're going to place down a polished black stone slab like so. After that, going back up to the front, we're going to go and start working our way out to the sides. We're going to place down a withered skeleton skull on the side of this piston here, then a black stained glass pane. We're going to go ahead and place down a green stained glass pane, and then we're going to take our prismarine walls and place down 2 prismarine walls back. We're going to take green terracotta then and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 green terracotta blocks back. A smooth quartz upside down stair like so, an air stair coming off it, so you have a corner stair, regular stair, and then a polished diorite upside down stair there on the very back. Next row here, going up to the front, we're going to place down a polished black stone top slab coming off the side of this second green terracotta block here, a black concrete block back, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 green terracotta blocks back, and 2 polished black or dark oak stairs, I should say. After that, we're going to go then take our dark oak trapdoors. We're going to place down 1 and 2 along the side here. And we then want to take our zombie heads and place down 1, 2, 3 along the side. And then 1, 2, 3 dark oak stairs like that. We're going to go then take our pistons, place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And an alternative for pistons here, it would probably be in your best interest to use the end portal frame blocks. Those kind of are going to create the same effect we're going to have here later on. You can use those as a good alternative, or you can kind of mess around with placing down stairs. I would maybe place down maybe these first 3 here, make these stairs, and then the last 3 here slabs of dark oak wood. That's another alternative you can do there instead of having these pistons. We're going to go ahead and take our dark oak wood slabs and place down 2 more after those pistons there. And then we're going to go ahead and take our daylight detectors and place down 2 daylight detectors like this going back. And then after that, we're going to then place down 2 dark oak trapdoors afterward, like so. Now, after we have that done, we're going to then go to the side here and place down a dark oak slab here. And then we're going to go and take our pistons, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3. Now, these pistons, instead of having the pistons here, you can use dark oak slabs instead. We're going to go then place down 1, 2, 3. Dark oak slabs back. Again, 2 pistons, 2 daylight detectors, and then a dark oak slab on the end there, like so. Then our next row here, we're going to place down 2 dark oak slabs, 1, 2, and actually it's going to be 3, 4, 5 in total. Then again 2 daylight detectors and our dark oak trapdoor. Next row here is going to be a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 daylight detectors, and then 2 dark oak trapdoors. We're going to go then place down a dark oak trapdoor here, and then 1, 2 daylight detectors, and then again 2 more dark oak trapdoors back. Then again 3 dark oak trapdoors here, and then 2 dark oak trapdoors like so. At this point in time, we'll go ahead and grab our debug stick here, so using the same command we used earlier in the build. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and go to these iron trapdoors. Now you'll notice that they will open due to the daylight detectors. Now this can be rectified by either replacing the iron trapdoors that are open with birchwood trapdoors and closing them manually, or again for us Java players we can use the debug stick here to go ahead and just right click these and close them like so. And as you can see, creates a nice design there for the bottom. While we still have our debug stick here, we can also go to the pistons here, where we can left click the pistons until we get selected extended false. And by right clicking, we'll go ahead and set them to extended true, and it'll get rid of that wood portion and kind of helps with the shaping and sloping there of that front there. One thing I also do want to change real quick while we're at it is I do want to change this green terracotta block here for a quartz full block, just because you can see the bottom of the block there, so it just kind of helps make that look a little bit more consistent there with our camouflage or our color scheme. And then also we want to go ahead and go to these pistons here on the sides for the wings, and we're going to go ahead and also do the same thing by right clicking them. The piston on the front here as well for the nose, and also these 2 pistons down here can all be turned to that kind of mode right there, that alternate mode, and help with our shaping of the aircraft. Just note that if you do break a block or add a block around the piston's block space, you will cause it to reset to its normal state, so just keep that in mind. You may want to keep your debug stick handy just in case you do accidentally disturb one of the pistons. Anyways though, with that all out of the way, that is going to conclude layer number 4, and with that let's move on to layer number 5. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to start off with placing down a dark oak trapdoor on top of this green terracotta block here, a narrow brick slab, and then a row of 4 of black concrete back. We then want to go ahead and take our green terracotta, we're going to place down a row of green terracotta that's going to go all the way to the back of the aircraft here, being a total of 18. We then want to place down a glowstone block, orange stained glass, and then a polished black stone top slab, like that, to basically round off our engine there. With that done, again, the same things can be applied if you want the engine turned off. You'll just repeat the steps that we did in the bottom layer just before. Anyways, going back up to the front here, we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull at a slight angle on top of that prismarine wall. Then a black stained glass pane. Then a dark oak fence post. And then after that, we're going to place down their black stained glass pane. After that, we're going to follow it up with a dark oak slab. Then 1, 2, 3 mossy cobblestone walls. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Green terracotta blocks back. A dark oak stair. A polished andesite stair. And then we're going to place down a dark oak sign coming off the side here of this stair. We're going to go and then place down a zombie head, which will be coming off the side of this block here. And then we're going to go and then place down 2 green stained glass panes going forward. We're going to then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mossy cobblestone walls forward. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green stained glass panes after that. Once we have that done, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 green carpets going forward. 1, 2, 3 dark oak trapdoors. And another green carpet like that on that top side in the front there. After that's done, we also want to go ahead and actually... that is it. I thought there was one more thing for us to do, but no, we're actually pretty much good to go. But yeah, that right there is it for the main structure. If you are on Java, we will go ahead and go a little bit extra here. And we'll take our debug stick and we'll actually modify the properties of these glass panes. Now we can actually change the direction here of these glass panes. As you can see over here on this side, you can see it looks like it connects up to the sides, but there isn't a block for it to connect up to. So we can do the same thing here for debug stick by simply left clicking it. And it may take some messing around with, but you kind of need to figure out what direction your glass panes are facing. And this is something that will kind of change depending on the orientation of your aircraft. But basically going for your selections here, left clicking until you find selected, it should say a direction, west, east, south, or north. And then you can just go ahead and right click it and it'll extend in that direction. Again, might take a little bit of messing around with to figure out what direction you need to go to, but right there, basically we're going to have the front glass panes going toward the fence post and this glass pane here going toward both sides. The same thing can also be done down here on the bottom of the aircraft as well. We can go ahead and do the same thing with our glass. So basically extending it forward. Let's see, we'll extend this forward on both sides, and then we can also extend the properties here of the white stained glass to the sides there like that. So you can see it kind of fills in that space a little bit better. We still get that shaping, but we get a little bit more of a nicer uniform look there for the front. Anyways, that right there is going to kind of do it for that, and that is going to include everything we have there for layer 5. Let's move on up to layer number 6. Moved into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to get started with here, we're going to place down a daylight detector, turn it to night mode on top of that second black stained glass block. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 narrow brick slabs back, 2 dark oak wood slabs, then 3 daylight detectors. We're going to keep them just in normal mode. We're going to go then place down a dark oak wood stair, mossy cobblestone wall, 3 daylight detectors kept on the day mode, dark oak wood slab, and then a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green terracotta blocks, 2 dark oak wood slabs, and an iron trapdoor on the end there. After that, we want to take our dark oak wood trapdoors, go to the sides here of the wall, place down a trapdoor, and then go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you should have a total of 6 here on the side. Make sure those trapdoors are closed, like so. After that is all done, we also want to go ahead and go to the side here of the second and third green terracotta blocks here from the front. We're going to place down 2 of these acacia wood buttons, like so. One thing I also want to cover is that for the daylight detectors on this section here, we're actually going to go ahead and change these to blue to kind of replicate the kind of Swedish Air Force logo, or Randall, that will be located on the wings there. So we'll kind of change those to blue to give that, hint of blue of where those would be located. Anyways, though, that is going to basically conclude what we have there for layer 6, and with that, we'll go ahead and move into our last final layers for the in-flight version of the aircraft. Alright guys, so moving into our last final layers, we have layers 7, 8, and 9. For these layers to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go and basically solely focus on the vertical stabilizer. For the most part, we're going to begin with by placing down a dark oak slab here, green terracotta block here, and then we're going to go and place down a acacia wood button on both sides of that green terracotta block. From that block, we're going to go ahead and go back an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a green stained glass paint on the end. Go ahead and go up again, dark oak slab here, then 1, 2, 3, 2 green terracotta blocks back. And if you do want to add this little kind of patch or logo here, this is just going to be a red glazed terracotta block here with a birchwood button on both sides, as well as 2 acacia wood buttons on the first 2 green terracotta blocks. So just like that, again, you can substitute this out for just a green terracotta block with an acacia wood button on both sides also. We're going to go ahead and place down a mossy cobblestone wall here. Then on top, we're going to place down 2 green terracotta blocks, followed by a dark oak wood slab, and then an end rod coming off that slab going forward. We then want to place down dark oak wood signs on the sides of the slabs and the green terracotta blocks, just like that. And with that all done, one of the next things I want to cover here is we will be going ahead and grabbing some banners here. Now, I'm not going to show you guys how to make these banners exactly. There's obviously a whole bunch of numbers that you can put on the side here of this aircraft to make it unique. But basically, you just want a 2-digit number. Seems kind of be the most common thing for the 35s. But basically, we have a 2-digit number here. Green banner with the yellow writing, which seemed to kind of be the norm, at least for this color scheme of the aircraft. And that just right there is located on the tail there, and located in that section. You can obviously make it 3 digits if you really want to. You definitely have the space to do it. But yeah, that right there is going to kind of do it for that section there. And the very last thing we have to do here is take a zombie head, and we're going to place it down on top of this mossy cobblestone wall, like so. And once you have that all done, that is going to basically conclude the in-flight version here for the Saab 35 Draken. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into the landing gear and showing you guys how to put that on for the model. So going ahead and getting started for our landing gear, we're going to be going ahead and start with our front wheel. For this front wheel here, we're going to go ahead and go into this section here. We're going to delete the second and third iron trapdoors on the bottom here. We're also going to delete the 2 quartz blocks above them. We're going to place down a quartz slab, our top slab in this place here, and then a polished diorite upside down stair like that right behind it. We're going to place down an end rod that goes down, a block of coal on the bottom of the end rod, and then a white banner on both sides, like so. Now this white banner here is a custom design. This is going to be a white banner, a black border, and a black horizontal stripe for the center. Pretty simple to make. I'm not going to show you how to make it exactly in a loom because I think it's just so easy it doesn't really need to be said. But yeah, this right here will basically be on both sides of that block of coal to give it a little bit more of a wheel-like look, and that is it for the front wheel. Let's move on to the rear wheels. And now moving to the rear wheels, we'll be going ahead and going down to this section right here. We want to go ahead and count 1, 2, 3 in our 4th iron trapdoor back. We're going to go ahead and delete that iron trapdoor, the second one behind it. Now in its place, we're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate like this, and we're going to have this opened up toward the front. On this piston here, we're going to place down a diorite wall that comes down, and then an end rod on the bottom of that. We're also going to place down a birchwood fence gate here, come off the end rod, and have it open up toward it. Then after that, we're going to go down from this end rod over to the side, place down a wall, one more wall forward, and then we're going to place down basically 2 wither skeleton skulls. Now we will need to delete this birchwood sign right here on that missile, but other than that, you'll be able to place down your wither skeleton skulls like this on those 2 walls. And then we're just going to place down a skeleton skull inside this wall. After that's all done, that right there is going to basically conclude that. One thing that will happen is these pistons up here will update if you're on Java, so you'll very simply just need to go ahead and grab your debug stick here again and do the same thing we did before by just going ahead and right-clicking those pistons like so. And that right there will basically conclude what we have there for the landing gear. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to the final part of the tutorial, which we'll be talking about the camouflage. Alright guys, so when it comes to the camouflage for the aircraft, I really didn't do anything special. Basically what I did is I used a combination of polished black stone stairs and slabs, black concrete, black stained glass panes, to kind of just go ahead and throw in a random kind of mix into the aircraft. So you'll see we basically have our little bit of black that comes in this section here, and we're not really doing too much black. We're trying to keep still majority green for the most part, but you can see the black kind of is in this area here, kind of wraps around and goes into this side here of the aircraft. You have it in your vertical stabilizer as well, and the best thing really for these is to kind of just find pictures of the actual aircraft, to just kind of proportionally try to build a camouflage on your own doing. But you can kind of get a few looks here at mine and how I did it. As you can see, it's pretty simple and straightforward for the most part. I didn't really do anything too complicated. But that right there is pretty much the camouflage and really all I'm going to do in terms of talking about it. And if you need to, you can obviously take any pauses or anything like that for that little fly around and go ahead and add on your camouflage. Anyways though, that right there is going to finish my tutorial here for the Saab 35 Draken fighter/interceptor. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do use this design, I ask you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be linked from the side of the build, tweet to my channel, or this video if this does bring social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free to whatever project you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with all that fun stuff. Also, big special links to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. And as always, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Gear 204, and I'll see you guys next time.